July 1st, 2023, I was at 172 followers on my Instagram account, and I decided to post one reel a day for a whole month just to see what would happen to my follower count, my engagement, my reach, all the analytics things. So I've been at a steady 170-ish follower count for a long time on my Instagram. I'm not gonna say that I should have been growing during this time, because I was taking lots of breaks trying to figure out what I was doing, which I finally figured out. So if you haven't seen that, I did post a video a few weeks ago of me finally committing to a niche on my Instagram and figuring out what the heck I'm doing. So yes, there was definitely reason for me sitting around 170 followers for such a long time. And I was kind of trying to just be okay with that, be like, it's okay, I am enjoying what I'm doing, the followers will come when they come, which is partially true, and I still stand by that. But at the same time, I was kind of wondering if I could be doing more. Now, Instagram, I love it, I hate it, I have all the mixed feelings about it. They have really screwed people in recent years by adding Reels. When Instagram first came around, it was such a simple app. The purpose was so straightforward, just post photos. But now they've added videos, they've added Reels, and I personally hate them. I have done everything in my power to avoid having to share Reels on my Instagram account. That sounds really dramatic because really I haven't done much. I've just not shared them. But I finally gave in, because guess what? Instagram is laughing at the creators who don't want to make Reels. They're saying, well, then you're not gonna grow. I have been hearing for quite some time now that Reels are very important in expanding your reach, but I have been ignoring that advice because I truly don't enjoy creating them very much, and I also don't like watching them. Now, like everyone else, I did get into TikTok in the pandemic when we were stuck at home doing absolutely nothing. I did get into it a little bit, and I did enjoy it. It was entertaining, but I don't care for it anymore. I haven't for a while, and that's why I've been avoiding creating Reels, because I just don't care for short form content. I don't like to watch it, so why would I want to make it? But anyway, the point of this video is not to rant about Reels and short form content and Instagram screwing people over and making us make videos instead of pictures to expand our reach and grow our following. This video is about my decision to finally get off my butt, stop being stubborn, and make some Reels and share them and see if it changes anything. So I decided to post 30 Reels in 30 days, meaning one Reel a day for a month, to see if that affects any of my analytics, my following, my reach, my engagement, any of the things, just to see if it really is worth creating this content that I don't really want to create. So I posted the very first reel on July 1st, and I will be posting one every single day through the rest of the month just to see what happens. I started out by just posting them at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time because I'm on the West Coast this summer, and I don't know if that's smart. It was honestly a completely arbitrary time. I was like, the middle of the day? Sure, 1 p.m., that works. So I did that for the first week. But then I was like, you know what, if I'm already going through the hassle of creating all these reels, posting once a day, seeing if it helps my engagement, all this stuff, might as well go all the way. So I did some research on the best times to post reels to see if there's much of a difference. Part of me feels like it doesn't really matter too much, but I did see a couple articles that said between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. Monday through Thursday. So I was like, okay, I guess the morning time is good, right? So the first week I was posting at 1 p.m. every day. Then, I wasn't expecting to see crazy results in the first week. I wasn't expecting to blow up and go viral, but I also I wasn't getting crazy views or anything. I was getting 100 max. So I was like, well, let's try switching up the time that I post for the second week. So the second week around, I'm posting at 8 a.m. every day, which is 11 a.m. Eastern time. So I feel like that's, no matter what time zone you're in, that's between 9 and 12 p.m. Correction, no matter what time zone you're in America, that's between 9 and 12 p.m. So I figured that was, no, it's not. 8 a.m. here is not 9 a.m. Anyway, it's the morning, so it works. So I'm actually, it's the middle of the second week, so all these this week are going up at 8 a.m. this time. So we're gonna see if that changes anything. And then the third week, I got a crazy schedule coming. I found an article by Social Pilot. Don't know how credible they are, but I found an article from them with a very specific schedule of when to post reels depending on the day. So it's like super random, like somewhere at like 3 a.m. I want to say. Then again, I haven't looked at it in detail, so don't quote me on that. But I'm thinking, like, this whole thing is just an experiment. It's just for fun to see what happens when I post a reel every day. First week I did 1 p.m. every day. This week I'm doing 8 a.m. every day. So I figured the third week I would try to follow this really weirdly specific schedule and post at random times each day according to this website and see what happens. So that's for the third week. And then for the last week, not sure, haven't gotten that far yet in my planning. I guess I'll look at the first 3 weeks and see if any of those times seem to really stick with my views. I'm not honestly expecting to see much of a difference between these different times, but if I do happen to see something, then I'll stick to that for the fourth week. But again, there are a lot of factors that can affect your view. Like even these specific times, they might not work for my following. Like the times that I got were from Hootsuite and these websites online who their audience is different from mine. So if their audience is active between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. and they're getting a ton of views when they post their reels in that time slot, that doesn't necessarily mean mine is. So that's why I'm like, I don't know that the different times is really going to make that much of a difference, but I figured might as well try and see. So anyway, as I said, it is currently week 2. I've been doing this for about 10 days now. Haven't really seen anything crazy, but we will see what happens at the end of the month. Once again, I started with 172 followers. So I'll come back at you at the end of the month and I'll show you all my analytics and show you what worked and what didn't, if anything, and we'll see what happens. So the month of July is officially over. I've officially posted all 30 of my reels. Actually, technically it's 31 because July has 31 days, and I figured might as well just do every single day in the entire month instead of not doing the very last day. So technically it's 31, but 30 reels in 30 days sounds better, so we're going with that. So I've officially posted all 31 of my reels. Today is August 1st, so it's literally like right at the end of the month. And I have my Instagram account pulled up here so we can look at some of the analytics, and I also just have like a notes page that I was jotting notes down throughout the month as I just like noticed things. So my starting follower count was 172 and now I'm at 187. So I gained 15 followers, which is pretty good. I feel like if I were to watch anyone else film this video, they'd be like, I post a reel every day for a month and I gained 500 followers, but I feel like that's not realistic. Like 15 is pretty reasonable in my opinion. It's not a ton, and I don't think that that outcome is worth the work that it takes to post a reel every single day, but I'll get into that later. So I'm just going to kind of go through my notes now and share what I was noticing throughout the month. So the first half of the month, my reels were consistently getting anywhere between 30 to 100 views, like nothing impressive, nothing crazy. Then on July 16th, I posted a reel that was not really anything special. Like it wasn't anything different than ones I posted in the past. It was just one of those reels where I erase the white layer on top to reveal the drawing. And I posted a bunch of those already, but this one was a drawing of my sister and a horse because I made it for her for her birthday because she loves horses. And for some reason that one got a lot more views than the rest of them. So the next day, July 17th, I noticed that it had over 250 views, which none of my reels before that had really passed 100. They got like around 100 or way less. So for some reason this one got a lot more. I don't know if it's because it was like much more specific. It was a girl and a horse versus just like portraits of a bunch of people that I had been posting before. I don't know if like the subject matter of the drawing is why it did better, but it did. So it got over 250 views, and I noticed that because of that reel, my number of accounts reached had nearly doubled. So that's something that I think is interesting that I noticed throughout the month, is that while I only gained 15 followers total, my number of accounts reached grew like drastically. So when I started this challenge, I had only been reaching about 300 accounts. And then by the end of it, I had reached over 1,000 accounts. So reels definitely do help expand your reach, but then you just kind of have to hope that it's reaching the right people and that they like them enough to then follow you. So anyway, I think that reel is what helped me jump a lot, because after that I had reached like 776 people and the first half of the month it wasn't changing too much yet. Then July 19th, 2 days later, I had 898 accounts reached, and I got my first notification that someone followed me from my reel, which I didn't know Instagram tells you this, but I got a new follower and it said that they followed me from one of the reels that I posted, and it showed me which one. I think it was the horse one. Then the next day, July 20th, I had 900 accounts reached. The next day, July 21st, I had 1,000 accounts reached. So that's kind of what I was noticing throughout the month, is that posting reels this frequently was actually helping me reach a lot more accounts, but it didn't totally get me a ton of followers. But I do want to point out that these dates were in the third week of the month, and if you recall, I was following weird time posting schedules during that third week. So in the first week, I think I was posting them at like 1 p.m. every day, which was just completely arbitrary. I was just kind of experimenting. And then in the second week, I was posting them between 8 or 9 a.m. and 12 p.m., something like that. And then in the third week, I was following this really weird posting schedule that I found from an article online, and it was really random, but I was like, might as well give it a try. I mean, we're experimenting, right? What I find interesting is, obviously I can't say for sure that that posting schedule is why this happened, but in the third week, I was reaching more accounts, and I made a note here that in the third week, when I was posting all those weird times, 3 of my reels passed 100 views. One, which was the horse reel, got over 200 views. And like I said, for the first half of the month, all my reels were getting 100 or less views. So it's interesting. I can't say for certain that it is the timing that I was posting, but there is a correlation there that the third week, when I was posting at all these weird times, according to that one article I found, I was reaching more people and getting more views. Also, just a note on the timing, I'm not sure if I actually did it right, because I'm currently in Pacific Standard Time. I'm in Oregon for the summer, but I live in Florida, and I've had this account in Florida for the past 2 years. So from my research online, I figured I would post by Eastern time still, because since that's where I've been since I started the account, most of my followers are they're more likely to engage with my content if I'm posting in that time than Pacific, because that's when I normally post for the past 2 years. So I was going by Eastern time. So when I say I posted at 8 a.m., it was 8 a.m. Eastern, which is actually 5 a.m. here. I don't know if that's correct. It's really hard to know when you should post, because you don't know when every single follower is on and where they all live. But yeah, that's just what I did. So in the final 10-ish days, I was noticing these trends where some of these reels in the third week had gotten a lot more views. And then I thought, well, it could be the timing. It could also be the sounds that I'm using, because basically what I do is I create the reel with no audio, and then when I'm posting it, I use popular audios on Instagram that a lot of people use for their reels as well. So I kind of assume that if I'm using a popular sound, it might reach more people. So I was wondering if maybe that was why my reels were doing better the third week. Maybe I was using more popular songs. So on July 22nd, I posted a reel with the same sound that was in the horse reel that got over 250 views. And this was also the same song that I used for a different reel that got 150-ish views. And actually, I need to go ahead and check how many views that one ended up getting, because I'm not sure. Here it is, July 22nd. I posted this reel of my dog drawing, me doing some finishing touches. And that was the one that I used the same sound as the horse reel, and that other one that got 250 views and 150 views respectively. This one only got 37, so maybe it wasn't the sound. And then the next day, July 23rd, I posted that reel with the same sound as a different reel that I had posted that passed 100 views, and that one only got 33. So maybe it wasn't the sound, maybe it was just the content of that specific reel. People liked it better than other ones I created. So anyway, those are the notes that I kind of took throughout the entire month as I was noticing things happen, noticing numbers go up or down or whatever. But overall data, I gained 15 followers in the whole month that I was posting a reel every single day. And I also grew from only reaching about 300 accounts to reaching over 1,100 accounts. So it definitely expanded my reach, which is really valuable because how are you supposed to gain followers if you're not reaching anyone? Obviously, you have to reach them before they will follow you. So as I'm editing this, I'm realizing I never actually showed my analytics on Instagram. I pretty much just summed them up for you, which I don't think I really missed anything crucial, but I still wanted to show the actual analytics on my page just to show you like the exact numbers. So I switched the dates to July 1st through the 31st just to make sure I'm showing exactly that month's analytics. And as you can see, I reached over 1,200 accounts, and 1,150 of those accounts reached were from my reels. So they really did carry. My posts only reached 140 accounts and my stories even less. So my reels really did help me reach a lot more accounts. I can also see like the top cities and countries and gender and stuff that I reached, but that's not really necessary for this experiment. So we can also look at my top content by reach for the month, and it's unsurprisingly all of my reels. None of my posts were in my top content for reaching people. Now, it would be interesting to sit here and compare like my top reels and why they performed so well, but I honestly can't really notice a trend. There are definitely like animal trends, like my reels of dogs and that horse seem to perform pretty well, but I'm not sure why the reel of me on the train drawing on my iPad or the reel of me and my fiance from a drawing I created of us from several years ago did well. I'm not really sure. So now we can look at my engagement, and this actually is really interesting because it's a much lower number and there's not that significant of a difference between my engagement on my reels or my posts anymore. If you look at those numbers, my reels have 72 and my posts have just a little bit less. But then what I don't quite get is if you look at my top posts in terms of engagement, most of them are normal posts and there's only one reel in there. So I think that there's not really a difference between reels and normal posts when it comes to engagement. I think it's more of a difference in your reach. And then finally, my followers, as you can see, now I have 188, but when I finished this challenge, I had 187. So I gained 15 followers, and there's really not much else to look at on this page except the little chart of my followers going up and down. And just for funsies, here's all the content that I shared in the past month. It is quite a lot, and that is quite a bit of work. So to close out this video, I want to just kind of talk through this experience and my thoughts on reels and whether posting one every single day is worth it, and just kind of talk about whether this experiment really paid off or not. Now, I don't regret the experiment. I think it was good for me to see that reels really do increase the number of accounts that you reach. I think I always heard people say that reels were good for reaching people and that you really do need to integrate them into your Instagram content, but I just never cared to, and I was kind of just lazy and I didn't want to. I didn't really like making reels, so I was meh, I don't need to. But realistically, if you're trying to grow on Instagram, you really do need them because I was at 172 followers for a long time, or fluctuating around there, 170 to 174-ish. I was always around there for a long time. And I try not to let it get to me because I'm grateful to even have some followers, and I figured growth will come over time. I just need to keep being active and consistent and enjoying what I'm posting. But that's a really long time to sit at the same number of followers, and then just from finally starting to post reels and incorporate that into my content, I gained 15 followers. So imagine if I'm doing that consistently for the next year, I could probably gain quite a bit of followers. So while I don't love reels, and while I definitely like normal posts better, and I don't enjoy creating short form content too much, it is kind of necessary in this day and age, in this era of Instagram, to use reels to be able to reach new accounts. So I think moving forward, I do need to figure out a way to start incorporating reels into my content strategy on Instagram. What I will say though is posting one every single day, I don't think that's necessary. I'm not an Instagram expert, I'm not a social media expert, so I can't say for sure. For one, posting a reel every single day might get annoying to your followers. I personally would not want to follow an account that posted a reel every single day. I feel like that would just get annoying. It would clog up your feed. Not that I really scroll through my feed that much, but I just feel like if I were scrolling through social media or scrolling through Instagram and I was seeing a reel every single day from this person, it would get kind of annoying. That's a lot to consume from the same person. Also, what got me thinking that is, like, as the month was going on, I was mostly gaining followers, but every once in a while I would lose one. And I wasn't sure if, I feel like if you just followed me, you're probably not unfollowing me right away. So I was wondering if those were older followers that were getting annoyed at how frequently I was posting. Obviously, I have no idea if that's the case, but that's just kind of like a theory that went through my head of why I was like losing followers every once in a while during this month. So yeah, that's the first reason I don't think you should post reels every single day. Just from my experience, I just feel like it might annoy your followers. And then the second reason is because that's a lot of content. That's just really difficult to keep up with. It's a lot of content to create, to be posting a reel every single day. And I feel like because of that, the quality of your content will probably suffer, because you have to sacrifice somewhere. If you're posting a reel every single day and you're also trying to keep up with normal Instagram posts and your story, and you have other social media platforms like YouTube or I don't know, TikTok, which I guess is similar to reels, but if you're trying to manage all of that, you're gonna end up having to sacrifice somewhere when it starts to be too much and starts to get overwhelming. And for me, it would be reels for sure, because that's my least favorite part of content creating. So like I kind of noticed that happening in this month where I was posting one every single day, and that was only for a month. So I tried to have like most of these reels pre-filmed or pre-planned, and I had a lot pre-filmed and planned, but not 30. So I had to like create some throughout the month. And if it ever got down to like a few days before more were supposed to come out and I started to get stressed because like I need to start making more, then it was like, what can I make the quickest? What's the easiest to get up and what's the easiest to create? And the easiest and quickest might not always be of the highest quality and the most entertaining and the most efficient at reaching people and showing people what you do and what your account is about. So that's what I kind of felt with my reels. I didn't think any of them were like super low quality, but there were definitely like repetitive reels, like the ones where I erase the white layer on top to reveal the drawing underneath. I like those. I think they're fun and they are very easy to film and they're cool, but posting so many of those could get like annoying to viewers or repetitive, and they might not look at that and be like, wow, this is so cool, I'm gonna follow you now. They'd probably see that and be like, I've seen this before, and keep going. But those are so quick and easy to film that I found myself like reverting back to that a lot throughout the month. Like when I was getting stressed and I needed more reels to post, I would just go back to that because that's what's easy and quick to film. And that was only for a month of posting reels every single day. So if you're trying to do that long term, I think your quality of your content would really suffer because you get overwhelmed and you'd end up just having to pump out really easy and quick to film reels that aren't as high of quality as they could be. So I think that's kind of where I need to direct my efforts next, is figuring out a way to balance posting Instagram reels and normal content, because I definitely do think that I need to start integrating reels into my regular content strategy, but I don't want to do them every single day because I just don't think I could keep up with that. So I think I need to figure out maybe posting them 2 or 3 times a week, but I need to figure out what I can create, what kind of reels I can make, because I'm kind of out of ideas after this month and I don't want to just keep reusing old ones because that will get old and repetitive. So that's definitely something I need to work on moving forward. If you have any suggestions of reels that you like to watch from artists on Instagram or on TikTok even, or on YouTube Shorts, let me know so that I can get some inspiration or tag the accounts so I can go look at what they share, because I'm definitely still struggling with like what to put in my reels. But I hope you enjoyed this little experiment and seeing the results. I feel like the results were pretty realistic and to be expected. This wasn't one of those like, I post a reel every day for a month and I blew up and now I have millions of followers. I feel like this was a pretty realistic idea of like what would happen if you post a reel every day for a month. So I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I got to see what can come out of reels, and we'll see what happens moving forward.